So good day everyone, my name is Ronnie Bernardo and I'm going to discuss international organization. So what international organization are all about? Government of people from different countries working together to solve issues. And there are two types of international organization, the intergovernmental organization and non-governmental organization. So what is intergovernmental organizations all about? Formed between 3 or more governments come together for a specific purpose. So what they work together? So they share national experts and resources. Example, our top scientists may take together with other scientists to try to solve the problems. For example, the pandemic that we face today globally. Some scientists shares their thoughts how to create a effective vaccine for the COVID-19 and sharing their resources for the other countries by sharing a technology and etc. So that's the main goal or the purpose. These are the example of intergovernmental organization: the United Nations or UN, NATO, European Union or EU, World Health Organizations or WHO, World Bank, Red Cross, Red Crescent or NGO. So, non-governmental organization, also known as NGOs, work to solve problems around the world but not connected to any government whatsoever, free to work towards their goal without government interference. They don't have any funding from governments and all hasn't been privately funded, but they are free to solve an issue as they see, felt, they learn about one coming up the rest on the others intergovernmental organization. So that's all. Thank you everyone.
The United Nations is an international organization of countries established in 1945 to succeed the League of Nations in promoting worldwide peace, security, and cooperation. Alongside this, the 5 organs of UN were also established to assist in resolving disputes and acting on concerns involving mankind. Today, I will be discussing these 5 organs of UN. The General Assembly is the primary deliberative and policy-making arm of UN. The Security Council maintains international peace and security. The Economic and Social Council is the central forum for discussion of world challenges. The International Court of Justice is the administrative arm of UN. And finally, the Secretariat is the principal judicial organ of UN. Historically, a 6th organ, the Trusteeship Council, played an important part in the decolonization process. The Trusteeship Council's functions were ceased in 1994 and it is no longer operating, although it cannot be declared disbanded without modifying the UN Charter.
Differentiate comprehensively the organs of the United Nations. The UN General Assembly is the organization's main deliberative policy-making and representative organ. Every year in September, the entire UN membership gathers in the General Assembly Hall for the annual General Assembly session. After the General Assembly, the Security Council is the UN's second biggest and most powerful organ. The Security Council is in charge of deciding whether or not there is a threat to peace or an act of aggression. To preserve or restore international peace and security, it might impose sanction or approve the use of force. The third organ is the Economics and Social Council, which is responsible for the economic and social cooperation between countries or states. Fourth organ is the International Court of Justice, whose mission is to settle legal disputes submitted to it by the state in accordance with international law, as well as to provide advisory opinions referred to it by the authorized United Nations organs and specialized agencies. The United Nations Secretariat is the organization's last organ, so the Secretariat administratively supports the UN bodies. The UN Secretariat or this entity, for example, is in charge of drafting reports and research and prepare budgets for conference.
To today I will be going to discuss the state regionalism and the non-state regionalism. So regionalism, seen as political and economic phenomenon which aims to increase political powers and influence and to coordinate economic policies between countries in the same geographic area. So regionalism is a process that must be treated as emergent, socially constituted phenomenon, which actually means that regions are not natural or given. Rather, they are constructed policymakers, economic actors, and social movement. So now let's proceed to the basic features of regions. Regions is a group of countries that are located in geographically specified area. The word regionalization and regionalism should not be interchanged. So there are two types of regionalism. First is the state regionalism. It talks about the coordination of a countries or may refers to the formal project policies and driven by the regional countries. And it encompasses a broader area, includes NATO, OPEC, NAM, and ASEAN. Next is the non-state regionalism. When we talk about non-state regionalism, it talks about individuals or organizations who have a social, political, and economical powers. And also, it is not only the states that work together in the name of single causes. So these are the examples of non-state regionalism. First is the Rainforest Foundation, which talks about the protection of indigenous people. Next is the Regional Interfaith Youth Networks, where they promote conflict prevention, resolution, and the sustainable development. And the last one is the Migrant Forum, where they protect and promote the rights and welfare of the migrant workers.
Differentiate state and non-state regionalism. So what is the difference between state and non-state regionalism? State regionalism, it refers to a formal initiative, program, or scheme promoted by regional nations, and the term actually spans a greater area. It is the coordination of countries and generic phenomenon. Whereas non-state regionalisms, not only do states agree to cooperate in the name of a common goal, organizations that exemplify this new regionalism that rely on the ability of individuals, non-governmental organizations or NGOs, and group to collaborate in the pursuit of a common purpose or goals. State actors are foreign governments or their agencies, whereas non-state actors are individuals, organizations with social, political, and economic power to influence national or international policies but are not allied with any particular country, such as NGOs and intergovernmental organizations.
So, hello guys. So today we're gonna talk about NATO and what is the meaning of NATO. So NATO stands for the National Atlantic Treaty Organization, or also called as the North Atlantic Alliance. NATO is an intergovernmental military alliance between 27 European countries, 2 North American countries, and 1 Eurasian country. NATO was created in 1949 by the United States, Canada, and several Western European nations to provide collective security against the Soviet Union. NATO was the first peacetime military in that time. The main purpose of NATO is to guarantee the freedom and security of its members through political and military means. So it means like if one country is part of this organization, if they will have a problem in their country, they're gonna help if it's political or military means. So that is my own understanding about this organization. So this organization also have this they called like Article 5, that if the victim of an armed attack, each and every other member of the alliance will participate or consider this as an act of violence. It's like if one country is being attacked, they will necessarily assist this country by means of military attack. So that is my understanding of NATO. So I hope you understand what we've just talked about. So that's it for today. God bless.
Good day, everyone. I am Kanjan Palomar. I will be the one who will discuss OPEC. OPEC means Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. OPEC was founded by Juan Pablo Perez Alfonso and Abdullah Tariki. OPEC was established in Iraq, Baghdad, on September 1960 and had headquarters in Austria and Vienna on 1960. There are 14 countries that member in OPEC, including Iran, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, United Arab Emirates, Algeria, Nigeria, Kuwait, Angola, and Ecuador. In general, this organization was established to consolidate and coordinate the policies of other countries. OPEC also ensured the consolidation of oil market to have an efficient and stable economic and regular supply of petroleum to consumers, and also have a fair capital gains for investors in the petroleum industry. So that's all for my discussion. Thank you.
The Non-Aligned Movement, or NOM, is a group of 120 countries in the developing world that are not explicitly aligned with or against any major power bloc. It is the world's second largest grouping states after the United Nations. The movement began in 1950s as an attempt by some countries to avoid the polarized world of Cold War, which pitted pro-Soviet communist Warsaw Pact countries against pro-American capitalist NATO countries. The term non-aligned movements emerged for the first time in 1976 at the fifth summit, which participating countries are referred to as members of the movement. The non-aligned movement was founded in Belgrade, Yugoslavia in 1961. The organization goal was to protect non-aligned countries' national independence, sovereignty, territorial integrity, and security in their fight against imperialism, colonialism, neo-colonialism, racism, and all forms of foreign aggression, occupation, dominance, interference, or hegemony, as well as the great power of black politics.
Good day. I will be going to discuss about the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or also known as the ASEAN. ASEAN was established on August 8, 1967, and it has 5 members of countries, namely Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. ASEAN was formed and focused to promote political security, accelerate economic growth, regional peace and stability, cultural development, and social progress. And it will help us to strengthen the foundation for peaceful community. While ASEAN was being developed, there is a lot of countries who join and become part of ASEAN. These are Brunei, Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, and Vietnam. This is Jasamil Di Magilimutan, your reporter.
Everyone, my name is John Vic B. Pandamon, and today I will explain the difference among NATO, OPEC, and now ASEAN. So NATO stands for North Treaty Organization or Atlantic Alliance or NATO. It is an international political and military organization with the aim of guaranteeing the freedom and security of its members through political and military means. It is being called NATO because it sought to create a counterweight to Soviet armies stationed in Central and Eastern Europe after World War II. NATO command structure is under the authority of the Military Committee, and its highest military authority composed of the chiefs of defense of all 29 member countries. On the other hand, OPEC stands for Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. It is a permanent intergovernment organization created at the Baghdad Conference on September 10 to 14, 1960 by Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. Its purpose is to coordinate and unify the petroleum policies of its member countries and ensure the stabilization of oil markets is ordered to secure an efficient economic and regular supply of petroleum rather to consumers. NAM stands for Non-Aligned Movement. It is international organization dedicated to representing the interests and aspiration of developing countries. All in all, NATO focuses on military power, nor alliances, while OPEC focuses on the business which is petroleum, and NAM focuses on interest and aspiration of developing countries. That's all. Thank you.